If your workspace is not somewhere where you are allowed to be human, that's value that's not added to someone. I don't imagine that you'll keep people for long. I imagine that you're going to have a lot of turnover because people are just not looking for a place where they have to leave a part of themselves at the door.
Welcome to the Workmatters Podcast, where you will hear real-life stories from everyday people in different roles and industries share the challenges of practically integrating their faith and work. Each week together, we'll wrestle over what God is doing in us and with us while we work. So let's dive in. Well, to kick off this season, I thought Keisha, Darrel, and I would have a conversation where we wrestle over what we're hearing from people about work, the challenges that they face and the things that they're wrestling over and that's keeping them up at night and getting them up early in the morning. So we're going to start with a quote that Darrel recently shared with our staff, and I think even posted on one of our social media pages. And it's from Brené Brown in an interview that she had. This is what she said. She said, "I'll tell you right now, people are not okay. If you are leading people, you probably know that people are not okay. I mean, folks are still going into Costco with an automatic weapon because they are out of Cheese Whiz. People are emotionally dysregulated, distrustful, and disconnected. So you are leading a workforce that is increasingly struggling. You've got really massive instability geopolitically, changing markets, and AI and tech." That was Brené Brown. So you heard that quote, Darrel, and why did that catch your attention?
Yeah, it was part of a longer talk that she gave at Fortune's Most Powerful Women Summit back in October, I believe. It was about a 27-minute talk. And I think what caught my attention was a researcher said it out loud, that it's hard right now. And all the hard we experience in life gets up and goes to work with us every day. And especially those three words that she used, dysregulated, distrustful, and disconnected. It just really hit me that, leadership is a challenge to begin with. But then to realize I've got to manage that stuff in myself. And I've got to walk alongside and lead people who are also bringing all that stuff. So I think what really got me was, here's somebody who studies numbers. This wasn't a clickbait type of statement. This is someone who sees the data and said it, and we need to pay attention to it. And the people we work alongside and us are struggling with what's happening in our day-to-day lives, in the things we can't control, the things we can control. It's a heavy time. And I think I even said it to you. I think, man, to not acknowledge that going into season 2, might be a miss on our part. So thanks for even entertaining this conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I saw that when you posted it, and my mind, the little trail that it went on, it's like, oh man, that's very true. And there was a hope that kind of lit up in me, because then it was the thought of, well, yes, we're dysregulated and distrustful and don't have connections. And like, what if work became this sanctuary where we could learn to reconnect, where our bodies, we could be in such a space of like trust, and we don't have to worry. We could just like let our guards down and our bodies start to re-regulate. Like, there's such potential for work to be a place where you can recover and normalize, and at the same time, it felt like this is a call to action. Like, there's so much urgency behind the truth of what she said that I was like, oh man, something has to change. There's the way that we work, our mentality in approaching each other in work. Like, there has to be some shift, because things like if people aren't okay and they're walking in the door, you can't ignore it.
Right.
Yeah.
Something has to change. It's like do or die.
Yeah.
And I agree with what you said about the potential of work being a place where we can grab a hold of some normalcy, that is a place where, and we've talked about, I think in our first episode, just that being our garden space, right?
Yep.
God has entrusted each of us with some raw materials to reorder, bring something new into the world with. And when we feel like things are out of control, maybe the first step is to say, okay, here's where God has me. Here's what I've been entrusted to do. I'm going to ask him to help me turn off all that noise of stuff I can't control, because today, this is what he's called me to, right here at this desk or at this assembly line or whatever production plant I'm in.
Yeah.
So I think you're right on with that, the potential of work to be a grounding, helpful place.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. When I was growing up and thinking about work and was going into the workforce, we were told to leave it at the door.
Yeah.
We were told, you don't bring that in here. When you get here, you clock in, it's time to go to work. And so it didn't feel like a sanctuary. It didn't feel like a safe place. It felt like a duty I needed to go fulfill.
Mm-hmm.
And yet the people I was with, I was spending half of my adult life with them, working.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, but now, Brené said it, you just said, she said what we've been feeling out loud. You just talked about needing to have a safe place to not be okay. And what changed? What shifted? Like, how did we go from there to here? And is it okay that we're here now? What are your thoughts when I say that?
Is it okay that we're here now? Yes. I think so. I think it's necessary. I cannot recall who I was talking to, but they made a point of, we're people that have come out of a severe period of isolation, COVID, all of that. You've got a generation that is coming up into the workforce, and that's what they grew up in, was that isolation. And we're looking for places to connect and to be human again. Mm-hmm. And work has to be one of those places. If your workspace is not somewhere where you are allowed to be human, that's value that's not added to someone. I don't imagine that you'll keep people for long. I imagine that you're going to have a lot of turnover because people are just not looking for a place where they have to leave a part of themselves at the door.
Sure.
And that was Leadership 101. When you came along, when I came along, was it Jack Welch that was the president of GE? It was this idea that what makes you human is a detriment to productivity. And I think that's been just proven false.
Right.
That what makes us human helps to make us productive and purposeful and creative and engaging and all those things that I think, I don't want to say it was wrong for back then, but it certainly is not the way it can work now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you say that, it made me think, as Christians, when I look at Genesis 1 and Adam and God together in the garden in his workplace, co-creating it, God didn't say, okay, I need you to leave that one part of you, the part out there, and the other part of you just come work with me. So God invited his whole self to co-create with him. In fact, as an image bearer, work is a part of my image.
Right.
And so as a Christian, I want the whole person to come to work. I want to create a space for that whole person to come to work. When I say those things, what stirs in your eye? Like, what triggers in your thought?
Awe and wonder came to my mind, because if I'm just thinking about God and the work, and just picturing Adam and Eve, being in a space where they have everything that they need, but now they're discovering, like, oh, if I put this with this, then I can use it to till the soil or what have you. And then God coming in the cool of the day and discussing like, oh, what did you learn today? Like, what have you discovered? And then God putting his input in, and you can also do this. And just the delight. They have the opportunity to get things wrong. They have the opportunity to be amazed at what they just learned. And God uses all of it to further humanity, to deepen the connection, to further that creativity of, oh, what are you thinking? Okay, let's use that. And it was all a benefit,
Yeah. I thought of this idea of what does it mean to be a Christian at work? I mean, that's a beautiful image to guide us and those glimpses we look for of the way it should be, right? That's what creation shows us. And I think that it's another opportunity because people are dysregulated and disconnected and distrustful. I think it can add some color and flavor to what it means to be a Christian at work. I think of what Peter said about be ready in season and out of season to give a reason for the hope that you have. Baked into that admonishment is the implication that things aren't as they should be. So be ready to give people hope.
Yeah.
Wow.
In fact, I'm not sure the Bible ever tells us to share our faith. It tells us to share our hope. And so, which means, how do I collaborate with God to regulate what's going on in me? How do I get off the doom scrolling? How do I, which really is just, it's as if outrage is the goal, right?
Right.
And it's just to be outraged. So if we're consuming things day in and day out that just outrage us, that don't move us to give differently, pray differently, act differently, it's not doing us any good.
Right.
Just to be better informed and outrageous.
Yep.
Right.
So I think there are ways to regulate ourselves that will bear fruit in our workplace.
Yeah.
And I think would be very hopeful to the people around us.
Yeah.
What's funny is I had a friend and I just had a similar discussion. And we were talking about what it means to be a leader that's in tune with the needs of your team. And, we were just talking about what that looks like. And she said, at the end of the day, I can't be attuned to the needs of my team if I'm not in tune with myself and my personal needs. And she said, such as getting off of social media and being aware of how that's affecting my emotional state. I'm bringing that to work, what it's doing to my mental state. But it's the same thing. Like, how can I be attuned to myself in order to lead someone else?
Yeah. I'd like to recognize and thank Simmons Foods, Inc. for being our exclusive sponsor for this season of the Workmatters Podcast. Their generosity is making this new season of meaningful content and inspiring guests possible. We hope people are encouraged to see work as a place where God shapes them more into His image in their work, at their work, and through their work. Simmons Foods, Inc. is a family-owned and led company based in Siloam Springs, Arkansas, supplying poultry, pet, and animal nutrition products to customers in all 50 states and more than 40 countries around the world. Please visit simmonsfoods.com to learn more about our wonderful sponsor. Thank you. People are struggling to get up and go to work.
Yeah.
I help to run a faith and work organization, and I struggle to get up and go to work most mornings.
Yeah.
We've got, those of us that have kids, we've got kids that are out of control, doing things we don't want them to do. For those of us married, maybe we're struggling in our marriage, or we feel alone, not part of a spiritual community. I mean, dad has cancer or mom just passed away. I mean, we've all got something. It's in us. We're taking it to work.
Yeah.
You just said, I've got to regulate myself in order to really help those that I work with or that work for me, and I've got to do that. How do you do that? Like how do you actually, is there, I've heard some things where, you find that stoplight on the way home, or you find that, or on the way to work, where you're like, okay, now is when I start to pray and prepare myself for work. I mean, we have some, tricks and little things that we do, but I mean, really, what does that mean to regulate yourself? What does that look like?
I would say we begin with doing something that most Christians are never trained to do, and that's to lament. God's people for centuries were poetic and artistic in the way they lamented. It was part of their walk with God, and we just weren't taught that. It was almost if we were taught, it's going to be okay, just don't worry about it, Whereas they had this very specific process, and I want to read it because I return to this myself often, probably should more often. But a lament is really just naming where you feel lost and exiled, what's wrong and broken in the world from your vantage point. So it starts with an invocation. Father, I need you to blank, unfiltered invocation. Then you go to your complaint and you name what's wrong, where you feel lost, broken, where you ache. But then it turns that then God's people affirmed their trust in God. They would say something, and you'll see it in the Psalms. Nevertheless, you have said, or you are known to be, or your people have said. And then's the petition to ask for God's intervention. God knows our vantage point is limited, but this lament process is, say it. I need you to do so. I need you to show up. And then they close it with this beautiful thanksgiving. They anchor their pain, their confusion, their weariness in God's good character. And that is a rich, rich way to handle all those things that you just mentioned. I mean, it was so easy. It was just right off the cuff.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But to stop and say, God, this is a broken version of what you wanted. And I ache. And so to work through those steps of just invocation, complaint, affirming our trust, petition, and thanksgiving, to begin to say, oh, okay, I have taken action on a deep level with what's going on in me. I think that's a pretty good step.
It is a pretty good step. Okay, go over those again.
Okay.
It was lament.
So the lament
is?
You start with an invocation. Father, I need you to whatever you see. And then you complain. You name what's wrong. I feel lost, alone, isolated, broken. And then you affirm, even though I feel this way, I know, and I've been told, and I've heard the stories. And then you ask your petition, God, here's where I think you need to move. Move my heart, move their heart, open a door. And then you close by anchoring your pain and confusion in God's good character. So I think that's, we're content people, right? We write it, we read it, we do all that stuff. And there's a big pressure to keep looking forward for new stuff when, man, some of the best stuff is behind us. And I think lament is one of those things. So I took a long time. What would you say?
No, but but I will say this is what I love about lament. And I do think it's not talked about often at all. I think because we try to stay away from complaining or from being ungrateful or faithless, which is also saying don't bring your full self.
Yeah, you're right.
It is. That's true.
Because we have all those things with us. We bring all those things with us. But with lament, we can actually name it. I think of a part of being dysregulated and distrustful and dishopeful, for me at least, is sometimes there's so much going on. There's in my head, and I just can't decipher what everything is. But this gives you a way to name it. And then so much power in naming things. Once I name it, then I actually know what I'm bringing to God. for him to be able to speak into it.
Yeah.
And then remember his goodness and be encouraged. And I love Lament and just for practice, for personal practice.
Yeah.
But then, imagine the power of that. You talk about bringing your full self to the workspace. If you let your team member lament, like, we missed the mark on this. That presentation went horribly. I worked on that a long time and presentation went horribly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think sometimes we just try to move past it. Like, don't be the Debbie Downer of the group. Don't, you're bringing us down. Like, no, as a team, we worked on this. I'm already stressed out about it and it did not go well.
Yeah.
Let's take the time to lament as a team. And then we can refocus.
Yeah.
Because it is a communal practice too. It's not just me in the corner. It's what a powerful thing to do with people that you did work hard with and didn't go as well. And for book people, just as you talked, Barbara Brown Taylor, I really like her books, and she wrote one called Learning to Walk in the Dark. And the first thing she does is she separates this idea that dark is always bad, light is always good. And she outlines all these amazing things that God chose to do in the dark in Scripture. And says that we in Western America and modern times, we have this solar spirituality. We just want to stay in the light. Don't get off the porch. Don't go where it's dark. Don't ask the questions. It's going to be okay. Stay positive. And yet we have this rich history of God wrestling all night with someone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He did that at night.
Yeah.
And all these other things that help name and wrestle and resolve. Yeah.
We live in a culture where we read books that tell you to be your best self now. If you just become 1% better today, 1% better, or here's how you become a better leader. Here's how you become a better this, or improve your life, or, all of these things. I don't know that I've ever heard anyone say, when it comes to work, lament should be a part of your discipleship in work. It really should.
Wow.
Because we do lament.
Yeah.
The sales pitch doesn't go like we want it to go. The client that we had last year that was $1 million client decided they're going to go with our competitor.
Yeah.
Right? Someone's really rude and mean to me, taking their dysregulated self out on me at the coffee shop as I'm trying to make a beautiful artistic coffee to hand to the customer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We don't lament. We bottle it. We take it. We dysregulate ourselves and we go home. We blow up on our friends, our family, or we remain alone. And then we pick it up and come back the next day.
Yeah.
To actually make lament a part of our discipleship at work is a powerful thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it takes the eyes off our performance or the metrics that we've set, and it always ends on God's care, nearness, and love for us.
Yeah.
No matter how it all went.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. So for our listeners, some practical way to do this. Let's 2 or 3 practical things. One, begin with lament. Right? Darrel just walked through. We'll have that for you in the notes. That here's a really good way to do that. And go to the Psalms. I mean, gosh, the psalmist did it so well.
Yes.
Looking back at our history, we know that's like, let's do it that way. What are a couple of other things that we could do to go ahead and regulate ourselves and help those that we work with or that work for us as well? What's a couple other things that they could do?
I say leaning into community is powerful.
Okay.
Like you said, the communal aspect of lament, there's something about that. One of our team practices is we used to rest together. And this is outside of taking PTO. Like, we have a stressful week and like, hey, hope you take PTO later. No, we made it a part of our practice as a group. We're going to go somewhere and we're going to collectively take a deep breath together.
Okay.
And so making those types of connections, But also, speaking of Brené Brown, we're reading in our team book club, we're reading Strong Ground. And she mentions that, the higher up you go, like executive leadership and whatnot, they are the group of people that are not expected to have mentorship or any type of meaningful connection in that way, which sounds extraordinarily intimidating and very lonely. And so I can't imagine being a leader in such a high stakes way and you have no connections.
Right.
So your connections, and then I say use your influence. For example, our book club, the fact that, one of our senior leaders says, hey, I know we're busy. We got a lot of stuff going on, but let's invest in ourselves. Let's get together as a group and discuss this book that's not just about what we do at work, but just in every aspect of our lives. And that could look like, everybody's a leader. Everybody has some realm of influence. If you want to have a prayer meeting. I do know people that they go on like a walk on their breaks just to clear their mind, and they recruit people, and that's how they take care of themselves while they work. So connections, influence, and user resources. I don't think you have to do everything and know everything and be everything. That's a good way to burn yourself out. And so if you know somebody that you can outsource some valuable resources, then go ahead. Use that to take care of your team. Invest in some conferences, invest in a consultant, whatever works for what you guys need.
I love that. I love that. You want to add anything?
Yeah, I'll add one thing. And again, it's old. It's 500 years old. It's called the Examen. And we can put the notes for that in the podcast as well. But basically, the Examen is an end-of-day practice where you review your day in the presence of the Holy Spirit. You pay attention to kind of the high point of that day, whether it's a strong positive emotion or a strong negative emotion. And you just sit and say, okay, God, what are you trying to tell me something through that? And as that comes clear, you make it into a matter of prayer, that interaction with Brandon, has exposed such and such. And you conclude by praying for the next day. And the idea is the more I practice mindfulness in retrospect, I'm going to become more mindful in the moment. And so it is a great end of day, like, okay, God, help me just rewind my day. You're right here with me. Is there something that stands out you want to point out to me? Something you want to share with me? And how can I turn that into a prayer for tomorrow? So that's what I would say.
I love that. I love that. We, at Work Matters, we believe work is more than just a job, right? It is an invitation to work with God, to co-create, but also it's an opportunity for the Spirit of God to do something in us, form us more into the image of His Son. And we spend half of our lives, and if we don't realize that, we've spent half of our lives not being formed into the image of Christ's Son, being formed into something else. And so lament, find a community, be a community to process the discipleship of work with, right? Find times to rest, find good resources or things that can help to equip you, like a Work Matters conference or something, Work Matters Institute or something like that, and examine, right? Spend that time at the end of the day of just examining, and that will help bring you back to work the next day as well. Guys, that was awesome. I'm so grateful when we get to wrestle over this and hopefully offer you, our listeners, some practical ways you can begin to see work differently and go to work differently and be with God differently at your work. And so I also want our listeners, as we wrap up, to get to know you a little better. So I only have two things that I'm going to ask you. I'm keeping this very simple.
Okay.
But they hear you. You guys we host together, and so I want them to get to know us a little bit. So answer these two things. What is your favorite pastime? What is one of your favorite pastimes? Do you have it? Okay, Keisha, do you have yours?
Yes, but it feels like such a stereotype of my generation. I live in a forest and I love my plants. And so my hobby is I'll go plant shopping and I will add an unnecessary plant to my home.
I love that. Yeah. What about you?
Well, it's changed in the last few months because we have a puppy and Louie is his name. And he is let's just say he has changed the rhythm of our mornings and evenings. And we're empty nesters. So to have a little excitable four-legged friend around that loves me better than I deserve. And our pastime has been just playing with our dog and training him. So
I love
what
that.
breed?
He's a Bernie Doodle.
So cute.
I love it. So cute. He's so cute.
We can post a picture if you.
Yes, we can post a picture, and then we'll be posting a picture of my grandson as well because that's my new pastime.
Yeah.
It's a new grandson,
right?
So that's so fun. But if I'm not doing that, I'm hopping on the riding mower and we're mowing for a long time. I just love doing that. All right, and the other thing I want to ask you was, what's one of your favorite restaurants in Northwest Arkansas? And I know there's so many. We love all of them, by the way.
Yeah.
But just what's one that popped in your head that you just love?
My go-to to take people to that are visiting is Table Mesa on the square in Bentonville.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, their brunch specifically.
Yeah, I love that.
Really good.
Probably Conifer downtown.
Yeah,
my wife's gluten-free. It's a completely gluten-free restaurant. Incredible food, and we just love it.
I love it. Mine's Table Station. Yeah, the station. I love it. It used to be on Main. Now it's out by the Momentary, isn't it?
Table on 6th.
Table on 6th. It was the station.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to fix that part in the video. Okay, Table on 6th. We love it. It's right near my in-laws' house. Oh my gosh, they have an incredible burger. But yeah, that's one of our favorites as well. Thanks for that. Yeah, I really appreciate that. Hey, thank you both so much. And we love to do this a couple of times in each season, and so you'll probably hear from us again. But if you want to take the next step in your journey of faith and work, I really want to invite you to take Workmatters Institute. We now offer it on demand. You can go straight to our website. You can start it today. It's 10 lessons. You can go as fast as you want or as slow as you want. But also, if you want to do it with a group of people, I invite you to take Workmatters Institute and start a small group in your church. It's all video-based, so it's just a click and play, or do it as a small group in your office. Do it during your rest time or during your lunch hour as well. So we'd love for you to be a part of that. You're going to hear real stories from real people who are wrestling like we are wrestling in that 10 lessons of the Workmatters Institute. But we also invite you, we've got some other offerings as well. Just come to workmatters.org. We'd love to visit with you. Thank you both so much for today.
You bet.
Yeah,
thank you.
It's fun.
Thank you for joining the Workmatters Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to get notifications when we launch new episodes. Start living out your faith through your work in practical ways by starting the Workmatters Institute online today. You can do this and learn more about upcoming forums, webinars, and conferences by visiting workmatters.org.